All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Youngstown Studio. Our guest today is the bassist for multi-platinum Georgia rock legends. They have 8 #1 hits to their credit. From Collective Soul, Mr. Will Turpin. Will, how are you?
Yeah, man, great. Second night of the tour here with Live and Our Lady Peace, and I'm in beautiful Bend, Oregon. If you ever get a chance, it's a really cool, nice place.
Nice, man. Excellent. So you guys got a new doc that just came out called "Give Me a Word: The Collective Soul Story." I had a chance to catch that this morning, man. A very, very cool doc, man. So what was kind of the reasoning behind sort of putting this together?
That's a good question, and because you don't really start out your career either like collecting all your. You don't start out your career going, "Hey, let's make sure we save and organize all our video and stuff." So it's something we've really been working on now. It was a little over 4 years to get to this point. Archival footage and interviews, and it took us a while, but I guess we just, it's in the era, for me, it's kind of the era of cool documentaries. And I think we just wanted to do ours, and we started out producing it ourselves, and about midway through the process realized we needed help. And man, we got some really good help from Phonetics. The production company took over, and then Joseph, the director, really crushed the whole package, and he was great in many regards, but really, really great telling the story and the editing. I was really happy with everything.
Nice, man. So I want to start with the origins of Collective Soul, because you guys kind of went from sort of college radio standouts, to Woodstock '94 and that incredible footage that they showed in the doc, kind of in fairly short order. So you kind of describe that whirlwind, if you would, and how did you guys kind of deal with that much success that fast?
Thankfully we did grow up with each other. I said it in the documentary. I don't have a memory without knowing who Ed and Dean are. So thankfully, we kind of knew each other. That kept us like unified. Man, it was, you can't predict when a song's going to shoot to the top and be, it was rock song of the year. It's nothing you can predict. Or I think if there's one key that helped us not worry about being young and so successful, was that as a group, we were always looking forward to the next thing. We were always looking. So even in that moment of '94, when Shine's the #1 rock track, there's nobody that even thinks about stopping and thinking, "Look how good we are! Look how cool we are!" That didn't cross our mind. It still doesn't cross our mind. We still release records, and they're still thinking about the next record and the next thing. So especially in '94, it was all we couldn't wait to get back in the studio. So we were just like plugging away, man, and taking all these opportunities in stride. That Woodstock night, it was the night before it rained. So man, that's one of the most beautiful memories that I have, really, and sharing the stage with some of those legends and friends. That's the night we met Live. We tell that story, and here we are 31 years later, second night of a tour with Live,
Nice, man. Did it feel early on like you guys could do no wrong? Because it was like, it seemed like everything you guys were putting out, it just kind of kept building and building and building. And I mean, like sort of how it's sort of painted in the documentary too. And I'm sure there were maybe some hiccups obviously early on, and obviously with the record label and that sort of thing. But as far as from like, I guess, an acceptance standpoint, it seemed like every hit you guys, or every song you guys kind of put out as a single, was just a banger, and everybody kind of latched onto it. Did you guys have that sense too?
I mean, in that era, everything was dependent on your next single. No, we didn't feel any security at all. We knew we knew in ourselves that we had something special as a unit to offer. We just wanted the chance to be able to show people what we could do. And thank God it all worked out, man. I'll tell this story every now and then. I remember when we chose December as the single from the second record. I think it was the first single after the record was released, because Gel was a single and on the second record, but it was released as a single when it was part of the Jerky Boy soundtrack. So it was out prior to the second album being released. And I remember we picked December, and I thought, damn, we're screwing up, man. We're screwing up. And December was rock song of the year '95. So yeah, so no, I don't. You just never know, and
yeah,
like I said, we knew we had something special, but we just, we didn't know.
You guys touch on this a little bit in the doc, but what did you learn touring from Van Halen?
Oh man, yeah, it's hard to put a finger on what we learned, but I can tell you their kinsmanship and the way they treated us was the most special thing that we've ever experienced, especially in that era of our lives. That was the summer that the second record was released. Eddie Van Halen was in our dressing room every day, man. He'd basically walk us to sound check every day because he knew we'd get into the dressing room prior to sound check. And he would be there, man. He'd be there with a guitar around his neck, a cigarette either in his mouth or on the headstock. And in that era, he wasn't drinking, and he always had a non-alcoholic beer with him. He was a creature of habit, man, over and over and over. He would sit there and talk to you while he's playing guitar. He's noodling on guitar and having a conversation with you. Sammy treated us like it was like big brothers. It wasn't father figure. They're only, Michael's only about 12 years older than me. So it was like big brothers, man. And God, we had so much fun, so many laughs. And they helped us, they helped us along the way. Eddie Van Halen was the one that we confided in when we first realized that something wasn't happening proper on the financial side of things. And Eddie was like, yeah, man, y'all are right. He said, I'm going to get you guys. I got an idea for one lawyer. I'm going to get you guys a meeting with one lawyer, and I want y'all to ask some other friends and get a couple other meetings and then pick a lawyer to go with, but you're going to have to lawyer up and do your thing. So, I mean, he was literally the first one that helped us kind of get through that hurdle.
Mm-hmm. I got you. That kind of leads to my next question too, because I mean, you touch on, kind of having all these hits and selling all these records and the label, getting all the money. You guys were still living with your parents and stuff. I mean, was there a moment, or were there any moments like sort of kind of tense moments, like, hey, we might not be able to do this just because we've just gotten ripped off so bad? I mean, was there ever a point that you guys thought about possibly taking a break or giving it up or reforming as some other kind of thing so you're not under that? You know what I mean? You know what I mean, to get out from the contract, kind of.
Honestly, yeah, you're right. That did cross our mind. Hey, let's call it another band and do something else right now. But yeah, there's a lot to it. But yeah, I mean, once we started the lawsuit, Atlantic Records couldn't pay us because all the money got tied up. So yeah, we had $150 a week, and that's when we went to the cabin, and that's in the documentary. So the record Discipline Breakdown, that's exactly what we're trying to explain to people is we're broke down, we're stuck in the mud in a certain regard, but we're somewhat disciplined about it. We're going to figure out a way to record. And I love that record because of that. When I go back and listen to that record, it's super special to me because of how the circumstances under which it was recorded. And then as soon as the lawsuit was settled, Atlantic Records had a record in their hand, and that allowed the train to keep rolling down the road. Because we had completed the record without talking to them or communicating with the record label. We were able to complete a record. As soon as that lawsuit was over, we handed them basically a complete record.
The doc too, there's definitely some heavy moments kind of throughout. Well, what kind of blew me away about all that was kind of how positive everybody still stayed, even despite kind of some really, like I said, some really heavy moments. And Ed, with Ed specifically, where do you think that positive outlook with you guys kind of comes from? Just kind of keep the train rolling.
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to help you to look back and be mad about something when all these moments that always get you to these places. Yeah, some tragic things happened, but there's something about understanding that, through grace and through moving forward, I think everybody's better off. And I hope that came through in the documentary.
Mm-hmm. There's one specific thing that I got to kind of bring up here too. And so you have your original guitar player in the doc, right? And so apparently he slept with Ed's wife, and that's kind of how that all went sort of south. So I kind of can't believe that. Like, we'll put it this way: if one of my bandmates slept with my wife and there was a doc about it, I probably wouldn't have them in the doc later. I'd probably still be ticked off about it. But I mean, like, that's like such a testament to just, I guess, But yeah, just sort of the mindset and kind of either maybe not forgiving, but just sort of being able to be kind of sort of open and sort of honest about all that whole situation. That really kind of just struck me, like I said, that he was in there and still able to kind of tell his story, despite what had happened with, up to what led to his departure in the band.
Yeah, we thought it was important. And again, in the moment, yeah, we were all super upset. But at some point, you gotta always go forward, man. And I think Ed was super eloquent in that segment. He kind of started off that segment by saying, we've all got faults, So, yeah, we had to face it. It makes sense. Collective Soul fans wanted a little piece of it, but we were not going to make a detailed slam piece. That was never ever what we wanted to do.
Your guys' longevity is just it's a credit, obviously, to how hardworking you guys are, and then on top of it, obviously you guys have had great songs throughout the years. But what do you kind of attribute your longevity to?
I mean, you got to attribute it to the songs, and we came from a studio, and we came from this mindset. My father was a big part of it. We came from a mindset of serve the song. Serve the song. A great song is a great song, and let everything else, let the dominoes fall, let the pieces fall where they may. But let's serve the song, and let's make Collective Soul about the music.
You mentioned it too at the very end of the doc. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is brought up. Is that something that that you guys think? I think you guys have the credentials, obviously, to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's now the bands and stuff that sometimes get in, and some that are put on the back burner, and it's sort of the waiting game for that is a whole nother kind of conversation. But yeah, I mean, is that something that I'm not that you're kind of campaigning for it or anything, but yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts as far as Collective Soul being in the Rock Hall?
I mean, I love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but yeah, when I see that part of the documentary, I'm kind of like, that's not really our attitude. We're not trying to get somebody's accolades, but we would be certainly would be honored to be a part. I think you can definitely make a case for Collective Soul being in the hall. So yeah, anybody that goes and visits at the end, there's a place where you can vote for your at the end of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. There's a kiosk where you can vote for a band that's not in yet. So go ahead and throw Collective Soul in there if you don't mind.
Nice, man. So you also recently put out a solo record, Serengeti Drivers. Kind of tell me a little bit about that one, and sort of what was the inspiration for you doing the solo record?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just good to artistically explore things outside of Collective Soul. And I started off on piano. So most of the songs on Serengeti Drivers kind of started with me behind a piano or Wurlitzer. A handful of them are acoustic guitar driven, but just another side of me that I want people to see. I'm not even playing bass on half those tracks. Mark Wilson's playing the bass tracks for me, longtime friend. So it's just another artistic outlet and another side of me that I enjoy doing. And I'm going back. I got time in the fall, so I'm going back in and try to get another solo record done.
Sort of ultimately, what does Collective Soul, like? What do you guys want the people to take away from the doc?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it's an entertaining piece. I want people to see how we operate as a band and what being true friends and what actually loving each other is like. Like, we love being around each other. We still laugh at the same stuff. But there's obviously moments we disagree. But I think we just want, and I think that I used the word grace earlier. I think I want to. There you go, Will. Get your text messages on.
You're good.
I think we want a little bit of that grace and just the fact that we love working, we love making music, we love celebrating the music with the fans, and we're not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, I think I know the answer to this next question, but is it as fun now as it's ever been in Collective Soul? It
is. It is just as fun, but man, it's wild looking back because the memories are a little foggy, and not because of anything we were doing, but it's just been a lot, man. We've been busy our whole lives, so I know that the band we have now, we feel really comfortable around each other, and we're having as much or more fun than we ever have as a band.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, once again, the doc, you can watch it now on Amazon, anywhere else. Like I said, you stream your docs from. It's called "Give Me a Word: The Collective Soul Story." Once again, Will, hey, thank you so much for the time, man. Have a great show tonight. Have a great rest of the tour, brother, and we'll get you down the road.
Cheers, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, man. We'll see you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Yeah, man.